Hey guys, I just wanted to do my review for Supergirl, Season 3, Episode 4, The Faithful. Um, you know, like I've been saying in previous videos, reaction videos, I actually tried to do a reaction video to shows like The Gifted, but that got blocked, so that'll be coming up later tonight and after this review. But first of all, I just gotta say that I feel like so far it's the momentum for this has been like the season premiere is pretty weak, but I feel like each episode has been getting the I would say this the momentum that this show's going at. I hope it continues because so far it's avoiding the season 3 curse that plagued Arrow and the Flash, especially in tonight's episode where you have a flashback to a guy named Koval who's on a plane. He's like, drinking himself into an oblivion and going on this tirade to a passenger sitting next to him about apparently how his wife left him for another man and his life's been going downhill. And then his plane's about to crash, and then is able to safely crash land in the river. And then you realize that when Alex stands up saying that she's FBI, that this is that he's on the same flight that that Supergirl helped safely land in the pilot episode, and she even witnessed his car in her civilian gear, in her civilian clothes, like all wet, and even flying off after standing on the wing, just so the authorities wouldn't realize she was at the scene. But he remembers that, and ever since then, he's actually been forming a religious cult around this Kryptonian god of Rao, and even worshiping her as a goddess on Earth, and saying he wants to follow the will of Rao, and he's been collecting a Kryptonian artifacts somehow. And this actually ends up getting Kara's attention when some follower kind of stalks Samantha Arias at Ruby's soccer game and gives her a pamphlet with Kryptonian symbol on it. When Lena and Kara are at Sam's office, she sees the pamphlet on it, and Supergirl immediately wants to investigate. And with James and Wynn immediately accompanying her to one of the cult meetings, and she gets uncomfortable with the fact that people are worshiping her in this way, and she's basically wanting Maggie to get involved, especially after there's this blonde woman who says that Supergirl remembers all the people she individually saved. She didn't know of Koval until Wynn did more research on him, and she talked about how she got drunk after finding out that her boyfriend was cheating and almost fell off a roof to her death until Supergirl saved her. And then she was recruited into the cult to the point where even her current boyfriend, commits arson by sets this building on fire, and Supergirl comes to the rescue after having get together with Lena and Alex and Maggie and Sam, and but then when she realizes that he deliberately put himself in danger so he would be rescued and then be able to be accepted into this cult as as part of an initiation. Apparently she's more troubled by it and tries to tell Koval to stop it. But the shocking thing is that she's one of that Koval, who's played by Chad Lowe, by the way, is one of the few people who's able to see through Kara's civilian disguise and realizes that she and Supergirl are one and the same. And he even goes so as far as to, gain more recruits because she feels like, Supergirl's lost. He's still it still doesn't. Supergirl tries to reason with him, and it still won't talk him down. And he feels like, Kara's lost her way, and that she's gonna, follow the will of Rao and help her find her way again. And he apparently got his hands on some like Kryptonian capsule that it also has like a reactor in it that he uses as a it can use as it gives off a discharge, and it can be used as a bomb that he puts under a stadium during a hockey game, and his followers are there expecting, oh, Supergirl will come and save us, and then he'll get even like 15,000 more recruits into his cult. And to add insult to injury, when Supergirl does fly in to save them, it turns out that there's kryptonite inside the capsule, so it's like she can't even get close. She struggles to get close enough to even deactivate it. And it gets to the point where she just grabs a piece of metal and tries to convince Coville that she's not a god, and she's able to cut herself because because the kryptonite technically renders her mortal. And then when all the followers see that, they all start like running for their lives. And then he's in shock, and he tries to deactivate the capsule, but he doesn't know how. And Alex shows up there not knowing what else to do, but she's able to at least open up the capsule and then throw the kryptonite aside, so Supergirl can at least at the last minute use her heat vision to, I guess like melt the floor and open up like a hole, like a hole like deep in the earth, and Coville and Alex are able to push the capsule into the hole before it explodes. But then you realize in like the post-credit scenes that it activates a Kryptonian ship that's buried under there subterranean that contains a bunch of other, I guess, like alien Kryptonians in like hibernation pods, and like one of them starts to wake up, and I'm not sure if they're supposed to be like more world killers or what. Like it's not really clear. But of course, Coville's arrested. Kara goes to visit him in prison to make sure that he's not gonna tell her secret. And he says like, "Oh, I remember you giving me a civilian name, but I honestly couldn't even remember what it was." And he talks about how he sees doubt in her eyes, and unlike in the pilot where she had like clarity and a sense of purpose, even not realizing it's just from the pain of losing Mon-El, not just from just uncertainty. And he says that that his being in jail is his salvation, and that he's gonna continue to pray for her and to her. And they have this like little subplot where like Sam's worried about being neglectful towards Ruby and opens up to Lena, and given her the latter's own experience with her own mother, she reassures her that she's still being a better mom, just because she at least shows that that she loves Ruby, and Ruby knows it. And Sam even invites Lena and Kara and Alex to I guess Ruby's recital, or I guess it's like they're performing at like a talent show. And the thought of Ruby singing is like, Alex gets so teary-eyed that she gets up and leaves, and probably gives like a really like another like stand-up performance from Alex, and just realizes to herself that as much as she loves Maggie, she can't bear the idea of not being able to have children and not being able to have the joy of being a mom and feeling how, and says how she wants to take her camping and teach her how to throw a punch, and say that her life is better now that the child's in it, etc. And at least they're setting up like it's nice that they're setting up like there's like building up to the eventual falling out of their relationship, to the point where at first I was kind of pissed that like, kid drama was gonna break up the relationship, just like how it broke up Felicity, and how that helped make that whole relationship a train wreck, and it just seems so sudden and just poorly handled. But I feel like they're doing a much better job here, and it feels like at least it's going to be like as sad as it is that this couple's going to break up. At least they're making it like an easy transition for the audience. So, for lack of better terms, in terms of like seeing how they're going to deal with it, and it feels like this whole child issue is coming to a head. That at this rate, I feel like if Alex and Maggie don't break up in next week's episode, then probably in the week after next, because especially given like rumors flying around about Alex is supposed to hook up with Sarah Lance during the 4-part crossover at the end of the month, end of November. So, I mean, it's sad that it's happening, but at least, I mean, like they said, in a way, they didn't live up to the promise that it's going to end. They are going to handle this with good taste. But yeah, I mean, I think it's like a really solid episode. I like how they're giving James more to do, especially not having to do with the Guardian stuff. Because I was just, as much as I couldn't like get myself to care for that by the end of the season 2, and the fact about having this heart to heart with Kara, and that she's questioning like, oh, she doesn't want to be worshipped, and have her religion like religious teachings like twisted. At least James's heart to heart about how Superman saved him reassures him. I guess reassures Kara that okay, you may not be a god, but the fact is like you're able to save people in the nick of time. It makes it feel like it, the stuff of miracles and something of the like, and just the fact that people, and not make her feel so bad that people worship her, even if it gets borderline obsessive. Again, it was like another solid episode. I really liked it. It was probably one of the strongest episodes I've had in a while, and I hope they keep continuing this going forward. Oh, and they didn't mention. There was one scene where all of a sudden Sam was in the bathroom. She was covered in all this Kryptonian writing and having flashes of that cult from Krypton that sent her to Earth, saying that she will reign, and then like Ruby comes to check on her when Sam's cowering in the corner, and of course the Kryptonian symbols disappeared. So I'm just kind of wondering where it's going, how soon we're going to see Reign, or I guess we're going to see her sooner rather than later, because there were photos released online of Odette Annabelle in the costume, and I'm not really feeling it. It just feels like it just looks like some costume from like some kind of cheap costume from, I don't know, back in the 90s, and it wasn't what I was expecting. So it's just it's a little weird. I'll probably show it in like a later video, but it's I don't know. I guess I think I'll just like put a link in the description box, and you guys can judge for yourselves. But anyway, what do you guys think of the episode? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.